Well, hey everyone, welcome. My name is Abby. We are going to cover the basics of estimates today. I'm on the product marketing team here at House, and Katie is here with me today as well. We're both on the product marketing team, and we get to work really closely with our customers like yourselves to get feedback on House Pro and understand how you're using the platform, and then work closely with our product and engineering teams to make changes and make sure that we're building the right products for our customers. Thank you guys so much for being here today. And just as a quick note, we're going to be sending out a recording of this webinar after. So don't feel like you have to take a bunch of notes and feel free to follow along. If you have any questions, feel free to pop those into the Q&A tab. There's the chat functionality as well as the Q&A functionality where you can leave questions in there. Awesome. All right. Well, I will go ahead and share my screen and we can kick things off. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, it sounds like some of you have used House Pro estimates before, some of you have not. But basically with estimates in House Pro, you can do them from two different places. You can do them from your leads, which are going to be over here on the left-hand side, or from projects. If you start at the lead stage, you can always convert that into a project later. And if you want to just get started with a project, you can just get started with the project to create an estimate. For purposes of the presentation today, we're just going to go ahead and start with the project, but just note that everything that you see inside this project, you could also do from the lead point as well. So whatever your preferred process is fine by House Pro. So on the left-hand navigation, you'll see estimates. So I'm already inside of a project. You can see this Robles Residence project. And on the left-hand side, you'll see estimates. We're going to go ahead and click that. And since we don't have any estimates started yet, we'll want to click either right here to create an estimate, or in the upper right-hand corner, we'll have access to a few more options. So just to go through those different options, you can do it from scratch, which means it's going to give you a completely blank estimate to start from. You can upload an estimate, which would be if you have a PDF estimate that you just want to get into this system. Maybe you just started with House Pro. You want to upload one that's already in progress so that you have everything documented. That's a great way to do that. And then last option is from template. So we have some templates inside House Pro that we provide. And in the future, when you start creating your own templates, you would also use them from right there. Let's start from scratch. And let's click right here, just click from scratch, and it's going to go ahead and create that blank estimate for us like we talked about. To give you a little bit of orientation to what you're seeing, it's going to have your company logo, your company information, client details would go right here. So if you've added any client details for that project, it would autofill here. Or if you forgot to, you can add them in right here as well. You're going to have, again, the document name. So this one's just going to be called Robles Residence. Maybe you want to name it something specific, like this is Robles Kitchen Remodel. We can add that in, and then it's going to update accordingly. On the right-hand side, you'll see today's date as well as the due date. If you want to go ahead and assign a due date for that estimate, you can do that there. And then on the left-hand side, you can actually manipulate these naming mechanisms as well. So if you have a specific naming mechanism that you prefer for your estimates, you can change those. And it's also going to show you what you've recently used as well. So that way you can stay on track with past estimates. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see that this one's still in draft. But once it's sent, that's going to automatically update for you, as well as when it's approved, that's going to update for you as well. Any questions so far about the upper half of the estimate, Katie?
Nope, no questions.
Okay, awesome. So now let's get into a little bit of the customization that you can do to an estimate in House Pro. So you can see that there's a lot of different columns here. So we can see there is the quantity, the type, the unit cost, markup, the unit price, right? But maybe there's specific columns that you do or don't want to see, right? Over here on the right-hand side, you'll see this customized menu that you can just click, open up, and control exactly what you do or don't want to see on those columns. So maybe you don't want to see tax, maybe you don't want to see unit price. You can hide all of those different details right here, as well as add new ones. So if there's something new that you want to add in and you want access to at all times, like maybe it's warranty expiration details, right? You can add that in and create that column, and it's going to be custom and added to each of your estimates moving forward. So you can see here, I have warranty expiration added here as well. Really awesome to be able to do that and customize what you're going to see. Another way to customize what you're going to see is the view by. So view by is going to help you organize things. You can view by category or by none, and I'll show you a better example of that in just a few minutes, but that can be super helpful for you as well. And then the other is the spacing for your lines. So you can have the single spacing, the double spacing, or the triple spacing. So that's kind of the gist of the visual options that you have to tailor that estimate. And now let's get into the real meat and potatoes, adding items to our estimates, right? There's a couple of ways that you can add items to your estimates. You can do it right here from this button that says add items on the right-hand side. Just click right here. If you don't have any added, you would want to go ahead and hit create new and start adding things from scratch, or you can do directly from your parts list. So that's going to pull all of your items that you've added in the past. It's going to pull in any assemblies that you've saved, which we'll cover in a little while. Anything from your selections library, anything from templates or recent estimates, etc. So let's say I want to go into my items, and under appliances or under backsplash, I want to add in this $2,500 backsplash installation. I just clicked that button and it went ahead and added it to my estimate. Another way that you can do things is just in line right here. So if there's something specific that you're looking for, I'm going to say turnkey drywall. Perfect. Turnkey drywall popped up. I want to add that in. And it's going to go ahead and add that line item in for me. It looks like I didn't save a price for this one, but let's just pretend that's $1,500. I'm going to update that price. And then there we go. We have everything added into our estimate. A couple other things that I want to point out to you as well. So obviously you have to make money on these things, right? So something really great is that up here on the markup column, you can set a default value for your markup. So maybe you're always charging 18% markup on top of the cost, right? We can set that default value, and now you see that it's reflected that on all of the line items, and any new line items that I add in, like let's say that this one gets added, it's going to go ahead and add that in as well. So let's say I put in this cost is going to be $500. It went ahead and automatically added that 18% on top of it. Really awesome stuff there. Okay. Any questions so far, Katie?
Nope, no questions.
Okay, fantastic. So those are the two kind of options for adding stuff to your estimate. Another way you can do it, like if you want to add something underneath this category, you can use these little plus icons and add one item below. And then something else to note is that you can drag and move items. You can move them around. So let's say I want to reorder this and put this on top. You just grab those little 6 icons there and drag and rearrange so that things are in the order that you want to see them in, right? Okay. So I think that that kind of covers the basics of that. Let's take a quick peek at one that's a little bit more built out so you can see what we're working with. So now we're looking at an estimate that is a little bit more built out. You can see that this one has been taken further down the line a little bit, but it can be helpful for you to be able to see that view by that we spoke about earlier, like view by category or view by none, right? You can see that this is the category, tile and stone, insulation, drywall, and paint, right? But if we switch it to none, everything's just going to be in there by line item. So you can see that those categories have disappeared and now we're left with just the line items. So I typically recommend people use view by category, but you can do either way. Okay, I think that covers kind of the basics. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to pop them in the chat. And if not, Katie, we can go ahead and move on to the next section about setting up payments.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So let me share my screen here. Great. Abby, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, you're good to go.
Okay, so this is the same estimate Abby was just in. So we'll move a little bit further into the other customization options that you have. When you're ready to set up payments, you'll see down here this payment area. So let's schedule some payments. Super easy here to customize. Let's say we want to call this our deposit. You can set the payment terms, set the due date. You'll see that it's upcoming here. If you want to add another payment here, you can add it in. However you want to title them. Let's call this one. Got it? And then if these are the payment terms that you want to use for all of your projects, if you like having the same payment schedule, you can really easily save that as a default. So then it will automatically show up on all future estimates that you create. We do offer online payments through House Pro. So you can see here this button, Set Up Now. If you're not already using online payments, we really encourage it. Basically, it allows your clients to pay you either by credit card or by bank transfer, and everything will be automatically tracked into your projects. So you'll see here this button for log payment. If you are paid a different way, you can manually enter that here. But if you're paid through House Pro, you don't need to manually enter anything. It will just automatically be tracked. It's also a pretty fast way to get your money. So if someone pays you through bank transfer, you'll get the money in your account within 1 to 2 days. And payment by credit card is 2 to 3 days. We also recently launched instant payout. So if there are certain payments or certain projects where you do want to get that money instantly within just a few minutes, you can opt in for that. And then there's an additional 1% fee. So if you haven't set up payments, it's a really easy process. You could just click either Set Up Now here, or here in this settings, go to online payments. And then it will take you to this page. So this is a page where you can just go to Continue Setup, enter in your details. It takes 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can have all your payments tracked that way. Okay, so we set up our payment schedule. Next, you can add any files. So if you have files that are specific to this project, maybe you want to add a floor plan, or maybe you want to add a picture, just click here to attach files. And then you can upload project files either from your computer that you already have, or with our new Google Drive integration, any files that you have on Google Drive, you can also add them in here. So that's a super easy way just to keep everything organized and in one place. Terms and conditions is another spot where you can add any specific terms and conditions you have for your company, or if there's something specific you want to have for this project. Again, you can save it as a default. We have a lot of options here to save things as default, so you don't need to keep entering them every time. So if you have specific text, you want to save it as default, just click here. And then we also have templates. So if you want to have a few different text options, or maybe you have different terms and conditions for different project types, you can add them here. You can click Create New, save it, and then again, you can choose which one you want to be your default. There are some other customizable options here. So, right now this is called Memo. Let's say you wanted this to be a scope of work. You could add in details here. Again, if you have a template already, you can add it in. You can save it as a default. And then if you wanted to move this either lower in the estimate or maybe to the top of the page, you can do that. And then we have the signature. So you can choose your company's signature here. You can update anything. And then there's the option for your client to sign as well when they receive the estimate. And then we also have this activity stream. So it's really easy to have a record of everything that's been done on the estimate, when it was created, if it was approved, if there was a payment received either manually or through House Pro. So again, any questions that come up, even if it's a few months or a year down the road, you can go back and you have a really clear trail of everything that's happened to that estimate. Abby, any questions?
Just about the fee for online payments.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't mention that. So for a bank transfer, the fee is 1%, and then for credit card, it's 3.5%. And there are a few options. So you can either offset it to your client, basically just have your client pay that fee. It will show as a transaction fee in the estimate, or you can absorb it as a cost of doing business or include it in your markup. And that's really a best practice that we've seen. I think all of us are used to having some sort of fee embedded when we're paying for things by credit card. You just don't necessarily see it. And so that's been one way we've seen where, clients aren't necessarily turned away by that transaction fee line item, but you still have the benefit of payments through House Pro tracked in one spot. Then just a few other options I wanted to show here on the estimate. So if you go up to actions, there are lots of other things that you can do. So you can, choose to approve the whole thing or by line item. You can create an invoice directly or a purchase order. You can also duplicate and edit it. Again, just to save you time, if you want to duplicate it to the same project and then edit it, or to another project. You can save it as a template if this is a common estimate layout that you know that you'll be using a lot, and a few other options here to download as a PDF, to print it, or download tear sheets. We also do have reminders here under this little lightning bolt. Those are our automations. So if you click on it, you can see there are client reminders that you can turn on if you want to email your client a reminder to review an estimate, or maybe they have an overdue estimate. You can turn those on and off. And then it's very easy if you just want to edit that message. You can see here, we'll give you a suggested default message. But again, any of this you can edit and update. And you can also change the frequency. So maybe, 5 days after you send an estimate, you want to send them a reminder. And maybe, 2 days or 4 days before the estimate's due, you want to send them reminders. So all of this, again, is super customizable, whatever works best for you and your company. So then once you're ready to send it to your client, up here we have this preview button. So we highly recommend previewing, and this will just give you a view of exactly what your client is going to see. So if you go up here to settings, that's how you can customize everything that you're going to see. So you can choose how much detail do you want them to see for pricing, for instance, which of those columns that you added you want them to see. Really easy just to check on or off what you want them to see. Same thing for details, if you want them to see a description or not. And then what type of approval, if they can do an electronic signature for approval, if you want them to approve by line item. And then as you scroll down, you'll just see all those items that you added in are captured there, as well as the payments, the terms and conditions. And then you have a few options here for sending it. So you can download it as a PDF and send it in some way. You can also just copy the link if you want to pull it out and put it in an email, or you can send it directly through House Pro. So this will go to whatever email address you have on record for your client, and you can copy yourself, any other team members that you want. And then again, we have a default message in place, but you can also update it either directly here, or if you have another template, add one in so that you can automatically have the same email sent out. And then you just click send. And then here I have an example of what the client will receive. So they'll just get, this nice email with your logo, your company name on it, that they've sent you an estimate. They'll see a preview of it here, and then they can click on view estimate. Here's the layout of the email that they'll receive. Any questions?
Let's see. I don't think so. We've got some technical difficulties for online payments, but we'll have to address that one offline.
Yes, no problem. Just send us a note and we can have our team look into it.
Yes, perfect. We're good to go.
Okay, great. So just one other thing that I'll show. So once your estimate has been approved, let's just say here, I'll approve it on behalf of my client. A few things here. So you'll note, let's see, it did just say approved, but that seems to have disappeared. But if we go down to the activity stream at the bottom, looks like that didn't update. It should say, let me look into this. It should say that it was approved on November 12th, but we'll ignore that for a moment. Let's say we're ready to create an invoice. Click up here and create invoice. And then you can choose if you want to invoice the remaining balance or by percentage. So I have already partially invoiced some of this, but if you want to do progressive invoicing, you can just choose a percentage of the project that you want to invoice right now. Maybe let's say we'll do another 20%, create an invoice. And then you'll see, this is an invoice, but the layout looks very similar to the estimate. So all of the same information has copied over. You can see the linked documents. So any documents that have been associated with the estimate or this invoice will be carried over. You can see again that 20% is reflected here. And then any other details or customization you want to add in, you can see the payment schedule has been set up already. Terms and conditions have carried through. it's all here in one spot. And then again, in the activity stream here, you can see that the invoice was created from the estimate. That's good. It's all working as it should on November 12th. One other thing I wanted to show, if you want to assign this document to someone else on your team, you should be getting all the notifications. Maybe you want to make sure that someone else on your team is getting them as well. Just click into that pencil icon, and then under Edit General Details, the document owner, you can choose who that is. So if you want to assign it to your team member instead, you can do that, and then this person will get all the notifications. Any questions, Abby?
Nope, we are good right now, but would you mind showing on that estimate how you could invoice for just one line item? I've had that question recently about for cost plus builders, especially like on, let's say, for instance, appliance package, you can see how we have 20% and 80% right there. You can use the far right-hand side, those three dots, to invoice for just that line item. Just thought that would be important to call out real quick. Cool. Yes. So this is something great that people have brought up for like cost plus, like maybe let's say that only a portion of the tile work has been complete. So I've paid for a portion of it, but I need to bill the client for that portion of it. You can actually take that line item over on the right-hand corner under the three dots, go down to create document and create invoice. And so you can create that invoice for just that line item. So you can see that this line item was for 12 grand. Do I want to invoice for just the remaining or by percentage again? We've already collected 20%. So maybe now I need to collect 40%. You can do that and create that invoice for just that portion of that specific line item. So I thought that might be helpful for some people who are doing cost plus for sure. So awesome.
Awesome. Okay, great. I think that's it for me then. Okay,
fantastic. All right, so we're going to show you guys just a little quick video. It's a minute long, but I wanted to talk to you guys about AI estimates. So I don't know if anybody has tried our automate functionality on our mobile app. Hopefully within the next few months, we'll also get that on the desktop app. But for now, it's just going to be on your mobile House Pro app. But you can actually use your voice to tell AI exactly what you want it to create for you. And it will use hundreds of thousands of data points from across the United States to create an estimate for you. So I'm going to show you a quick video and show you kind of what that can do.
Creating an AI estimate is easy with the House Pro mobile app. In the bottom right-hand corner, click the Automate button, which is the purple icon on the bottom right-hand side of the screen. Now, you'll just tap here to talk and tell it exactly what you need. Create an estimate for the Lester Residence project for a 400 square foot kitchen remodel located in Atlanta, Georgia. Once I tap finish, it's going to process my request and it's going to automatically assign that to that Lester Residence project and confirm that's the right location so that there's no errors. Up at the top, you can see confirm where to create the estimate. We're going to hit confirm, and then it's going to give us the line items for this estimate. We can scroll through, see all of the things that it's included. It's covered our backsplash, our countertops, our cabinetry, and the estimate is $38,000. You can review, you can check which items you'd like to add or remove which items you don't want to include, and then go ahead and add those items to an estimate, or if you don't like what it produced, you can go ahead and create from scratch from here instead. Just like this, I tap and add those to an estimate, and here we go. We have that estimate draft ready. It has all of those line items with the prices provided by AI. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Okay, well, just wanted to show you guys because that's another way that you can get to the estimating process, get through the estimating process a little bit quicker. So that can be helpful for you to be able to create estimates that way. Next up, I'm going to show you another option for creating estimates, which is going to be through takeoffs. So you may or may not have used takeoffs before, but takeoffs in House Pro are really awesome. You can basically upload your floor plan. You can draw and trace and outline areas, vertical surfaces, horizontal surfaces, count how many toilets you need, count how many sinks you need, that sort of thing, so that you can kind of estimate and figure out exactly what you need to charge for this project, right? So what we're looking at now is an example floor plan. It has some areas outlined. It has a couple toilets counted, and we want to convert this into an estimate, right? So I'm just going to hit review and estimate, and it's going to send me to the next page, which is going to give me a preview of all of those different line items that I covered on that takeoff. And it's going to give you the measurements. It's going to give you the unit that you specified, and all of those details, right? You can see that on this page, I had even more. I had tub filler, shower trim, lots of tile covered, all of the details that I needed, right? And so now I'm good with everything that I see. I want to hit create estimate. I want to do a new estimate. I'm going to choose the new option, and it's going to go ahead and pull all of that information from your takeoffs onto that estimate. Now, if there's pricing, you can add in pricing to things like, let's say that this toilet's going to be $275. You can add in pricing. It already has that count of 2 there, so we know we need 2 toilets, and your estimate is built out already for you based off of everything that you input into that takeoff, which is really fantastic. Really great functionality there as well. Something else you can see, this is bright and right in front of us here. Something recent that we added is being able to convert your estimates into a schedule. So if you're not using the schedule functionality yet, but you are using estimates, this is a really great thing for you. You can convert this estimate directly into a schedule. You're always going to have this little purple icon up at the top, but you can see this little preview message here as well. You can hit create schedule from there or choose to try it later. That's something really cool that you can test out and play around with. It definitely saves you a ton of time in the estimating process, going from an estimate to a schedule a lot quicker. And then you can just drag your dates around and get everything in sync with exactly where you need it to be. So that's something really awesome. Another recent launch of ours is assemblies. So if you haven't used assemblies before, this is basically a way for you to combine multiple components together at once. So there's a couple places, again, that you can create these assemblies. You can do so by going to company and then assemblies, and you can go ahead and build up your catalog of assemblies, or you can do it from on the actual document, which I'll show you in just a moment. So from that assemblies page, you can see I have lots of different assemblies here. I'm going to go back to this privacy door and see everything that I've added in, but you would be able to name that assembly, choose a category for it, describe exactly what's comprised of that assembly, as well as set the unit type and upload any images. So for this example, this is that 2-panel door. We've got the door, we have the knob set, the hinges, the casing. We've thought through everything that we need to be able to install that one door, right? So something important to note is that this is for one door, right? So this is going to be the assembly for one door. So all of the quantities for those items need to be reflected accordingly. So for this one door, it's going to need 20 linear feet of casing, right? It's going to need the casing on one side as well as the other side. So you have to consider all of that when you're building these assemblies. But once you build it once, you can reuse it over and over again on your estimate and really save yourself some time. It's really easy, just like in the estimate, to add items. Just click right here. You can add additional items from your library or create brand new items as well. Either one works. And then once your assembly is done, you can, like I said, use it forever. And it's got your markup, the subtotal, and it's also going to give you the total there as well. Now, let me quickly show you how to do it on an estimate. Let's say that we want to group all of the plumbing stuff together, for example. We're going to check next to multiple plumbing items and then hit create assembly, and we can combine those things together. I like to give that example, especially for shower trim. You know, you need to have your valve and you need to have the actual shower trim. You could group those two things together so that way you can just call this shower trim, and then your client sees shower trim, but you see all the guts, right? You see all the details that go into that shower trim. So like you can see, for instance, here, it's giving me a new line to name this assembly. We're just going to call it plumbing because that's all we want the client to see. They just need to see that plumbing, right? So we've grouped all these things together, and you'll note here that these things are hidden right here and they're only visible to you. So the client's not going to see all the stuff underneath it, but they do see this one main primary line item of the total cost of everything that's inside that assembly. So really cool functionality for you to be able to kind of make those estimates a little bit faster, right? Everything that can make estimating faster is always a plus. And then let's see, one other thing that I wanted to show you is creating purchase orders. So from up in that actions menu, you can create purchase orders as well. And so those assemblies are going to reflect accordingly. So let's say that specific assembly we just created needed to go to multiple vendors. You would have your multiple vendors in there. You can choose a specific vendor that it needs to go to, and it wouldn't split things out inappropriately. You know, like it's not just going to have plumbing go to one person. It would split everything inside of it. So for the example of the door, maybe you buy your door and your trim from 2 different people, or maybe you buy your hardware from somebody different. You can do that and create those purchase orders, and they will reflect the appropriate vendor accordingly. Okay. Are there any questions, Katie?
No questions. We got a lot of heart emojis though, so it sounds like everyone likes assemblies.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, awesome. If you guys have any other questions, we can definitely cover anything else. And then do we have another poll that you want to send out, Katie?
Yes, we have 2 more polls. One, we would just love to hear what else we can do to improve your estimating process. If you have any suggestions or feedback on estimates, we would love to hear it.
Thank you guys so much for being here today and learning a little bit more about estimates with us. As always, feel free to send any questions in using the little green chat icon when you're inside House Pro. And we hope you have a great rest of your week.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.